without further ado, we'll go ahead and get everything rolling. So what's going on, everybody? It's your boy JP. Welcome to the Cultivator Podcast. This is officially episode number 1. Woo! And yes, you know I had to do it right for episode number 1. So we got my boy St. Louis champion J Fips in the building.
What's up, everybody? What's going on?
Man, I'm happy to have you here, like I was saying, bro. So I mean, really, let's just kind of hop right into it. I've known Jeremy for a good part of my life, since like middle school, you know. So I've been able to observe him up close and from afar. And like I said, he definitely is a champion of St. Louis. He definitely represents a lot of great things in the city, a lot of growth, a lot of just accountability, and not even just growth within himself, but also growth as in putting on for other people too. So I mean, just kind of walk us through that process, man. You know, because the champion, they don't just start off winning,
right? You
know, it's some wins, some losses, and some adjustments made along the way that really comes into creating that success. So I mean, kind of just run us through everything.
I mean, people know, like, obviously I was broke as hell. Like, I remember, oh man, like my life was I used to be so broke. It used to be so, oh my God, so stressful, not only for me, but for my family. To the point where that's when I got a job at Wolfie's. Do you remember when I used to work at Wolfie's? I used to work at a hot dog joint, right? I used to make like $8 and like 10 cents an hour. And like just working at a place like that, you'll know like this ain't for me. You know what I mean? So I started working there or whatever, and it clicked in my head how many hot dogs I was selling and how much money I used to make the owner. Right. So it got down to a point where I was doing his P&L, so his profit and loss. That's how much he trusted me. So I used to do payroll and things like that, mind you, for $8.10 an hour. So I used to see how many hot dogs we would sell as a company versus how much he would pay us and his profits. So that kind of drove me to where I am today. Literally, the hot dog business changed my whole life. And it sounds super cliche, it sounds super whack, but that's what happened. Literally, I started off at this hot dog joint, and it kind of showed me a path to where now I can understand entrepreneurship, I can understand business, and most importantly, I can understand marketing.
That's huge. So I want to hit a pause button. I know we're going in like chronological order, but you know, coming up, I was working fast food too. I was at Burger King doing my thing. But I never had the inkling or the idea, man, I wonder how much money I'm making these people, getting to the point where I'm doing their financial documents. So where did that come from? I mean, was that in your background? Or?
So we were slow, right? So like, if you had a hot dog joint, right, you slow, you're not doing nothing. It gets to a point where you just start thinking. And I don't smoke or drink. I've always stuck to the same code. I don't smoke, I don't drink any of that, right? So I'm at this little hot dog joint. I'm slow, and I'm like, dang, we selling these hot dogs for $6 a hot dog, right? I'm selling over 100 of them per my shift. The hot dogs cost $6. We buy them in maybe singly for item, maybe 89 cents. So I'm making, if you times that by the customers that I'm seeing versus how much he's actually paying us an hour, I'm adding all of the profits up in my head. How can he pay me this? And what is his profits from the inventory loss to the payroll needs versus how much he's actually making? And when he opened up a book to show me, hey, this is how much I'm making a year. This is how much I'm making in labor costs, inventory, store costs. And his profit margin was so huge that it literally just changed my whole direction. It's no way possible out of a small shack you can make well over 6 figures a year.
Is that how much they running?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Well over 6 figures a year. So like when that just simply changed my life. It changed my narrative as well of marketing, because he was a master at marketing as far as Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Mind you, this dude is like 60. So you have to literally be a mastermind at that age to know what you're doing. And it completely changed my mindset. Shout out to Paul. His name is Paul.
Shout out Paul. So were you close to, I'm assuming you were close to the owner, so you were kind of looking over his shoulder, or was this more so, because Wolfie's isn't like a chain, is it? Is that locally owned? Or?
Excuse my French. I was his nigger.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Very much so. Like, to the point where he actually said it one day.
What?
He actually used the N-word, and that's why I left the business. But yeah, he was using me so much because I started making him money, and I showed him a new way of doing things to increase the profits.
I see.
But yeah, I would never let someone use me in that sense again. But yeah, shout out to Paul though, because without him, I mean, I wouldn't, you know.
Yeah, he woke you up. Yeah. Definitely. So that's something. So one of the things that draws my attention to is your attention to detail, as well as that curiosity, that desire to understand how things work. So has that been something that's been prevalent before working at Wolfie's, or was that just kind of?
Nah, it was. I would definitely say it was not. I wouldn't sit here and make up some story. To be perfectly honest with you, I used to sell drugs before working at Wolfie's. I prayed to God and told him that my last drug was to my guy Nick. You used to know Nick.
No government.
I know Nick. We're not saying his last name. Trust me, it's 150,000 Nicks in the world. But my guy Nick, his sister, I sold my last gram to his sister. I will never forget. There was a day that Wolfie's put me on, and I prayed to God, and I said, you know what, God, if you give me this job, I promise I won't ever sell drugs again. I literally got rid of the last weed I had to her, and I didn't look back since.
That's crazy. I didn't even know you was moving like that.
Yeah, definitely was selling weed, but I was selling it more so because I needed to sell. Like, me and my mom was broke as hell. We was facing eviction. This is stuff that don't nobody know, and all that good stuff. So, I mean, that's why
all the secrets out.
Yeah, I mean, who cares? I mean, we up now. I can give my mama $20,000 now and and we up. You know what I mean? So
yeah, you bought Mama Phipps a car, right?
All kind of stuff. Mama Phipps.
Shout out Mama Phipps.
Shout out Mama Phipps. She's well taken care of. Now we went from staying in or whatever to her now. Yeah, we lit.
We respect it. Definitely. All right, so progressing the timeline, we go from Wolfie's. You know, you really just kind of starting to see what's possible, as well as, you know, respecting your own value and worth. So, you know, you left Paul and whatever, and then what came next?
The shoe business. So that was my first, I would say, entrepreneurial step forward, the shoe business. And I literally took over St. Louis doing it. No one was close. No one could do what I was doing. So a Jordan shoe at that point in time was costing $150. I would sell each Jordan shoe for $300. So the resale value for the Jordans at this particular point was between anything $100 and $150 more you can make off each sneaker. When it gets down to it, it wouldn't be a full $150 because you have to pay taxes on the sneaker. Right. It'd be like $120. So because it's like $30 in taxes on the shoe. So I make like $120 per shoe. I got to the point where I stopped working at Wolfie's, and then I just started selling shoes, period. Like, that was the only thing I was doing. That's what I was known for in St. Louis, before the radio, before all my other businesses, before the property, all that good stuff. So
you were selling shoes while working at Wolfie's, and then things blew up.
Yeah, it blew up completely. Like, it was to the point where it was sick. Like, I had the problem with it was I didn't have a good. You have to have a team behind you. What I was doing was I was paying store managers at different locations to reserve the shoe for me, or doing something for them, and I still have to pay them. So that's $50 out of my pocket. So now that's taking my value down. I only have $70 of profit, but I'm getting so many orders because everyone is loving the shoes that now I've created more of a brand for myself. So you can go buy that same shoe at Foot Locker, City Gear, or wherever, but buying it from Jeremy, I got this shoe from J Fips. So like, that was more of like a thing. And I made that into a brand, and then shot up from there, to the point where I didn't have a job for a whole year, and I still made like, I was only in high school. It was only like $30,000, but I mean, that's,
yeah, you eating in high school.
Exactly. $30,000 in high school, that's crazy.
So how did you get into the shoe business? You started working at Wolfie's, and you decided, all right, well, this is doing something for me, but I still need the side hustle, or I still need to just add income.
So I stopped selling shoes, and then I got into the because that's when Jordan rose the price. So I ruined it I'm sorry guys. I'm one of the people that Jordan hated, because I was reselling his product So what he did with for all the resellers, he rose the price. So he rose the price from 140 and 150 all the way to 190. Now in the resale game, that's killing all the profits because mind you, we still have to pay that manager, that whoever, to cut in. So if you're only making $40, $50 off of a shoe, you got to get that to the store manager just for saving the shoe for you. Right. So at that point in time, it's just not working.
Making the money.
Right. So luckily I stopped right before then, and I just started focusing on, I just started reading books. The books I was reading, they weren't that good at all. I was kind of lost. I didn't know what I really wanted to do. From there, I started to do phones. I got into the cell phone business. I liked it. From there, I learned radio. Radio was my thing. I'm like, you know what? I wasn't that smart in school. I don't say I don't believe in college, but college wasn't for me. The only thing I know how to do is talk and make money. So let's start focusing on talking first. So I just started talking my little spit on the radio, got an internship. They loved me. Got a job at the biggest radio station here in St. Louis. Shout out to High 104.1.
Hey.
And that was it, really. And from there in, I just kept going. But yeah, that's how I started it. As far as finishing up, in my direction to where I wanted to go, I just simply chose radio. And then from radio, that's when I started my other businesses.
So how did you learn to pivot? Because obviously having the experience with Wolfies, with the shoes, even with the weed game when you was in it, all these different experiments, these different businesses showed you a little bit more about yourself. All right, this is what I'm good at. This is what I'm bad at. This isn't succeeding because I don't have a team, whatever. So you figured out your lane and you stuck to it. But what were some of those roadblocks, those failures along the way that kind of pointed you to which way you should go instead of, you know?
Women was definitely a roadblock. I definitely need to say that. I couldn't figure out how to stop. I don't even know like the phrase for it. Women was definitely a roadblock. They were starting to see me get more popular within the city. They started to see my business ventures, and I was young and I just simply was going along with it. I would definitely say women. I would definitely say fear was the number one.
Yeah, talk to me about some fear.
So fear, I knew that I wanted to get into the property business. My dad was always, he was always buying houses, flipping them, selling them, fixing them up, renting them out. He was always that guy. He wasn't primarily in my life my whole life, but when he was, he is now. Shout out to Dad. But no, he wasn't in my life at first. But I do admire him for working hard and kind of showing me the ropes as far as like property. So I wanted to get inside of renting houses, flipping, wholesaling, but the problem was I was scared because I didn't know where to start off. So just start reading books, start YouTubing. You can literally YouTube anything. Started watching videos on YouTube of just like these gurus, how to flip a house, how to do this, how to do that. And that's when I said, you know what, I'm gonna try it. So I did. I bought my first house. I'll never forget it. It was $6,000. I had $11,000 in my bank account. This is where the fear piece had to stop for me. Yo, Jeremy, are you going to try to quote unquote flip and do what you've been researching, or are you going to be scared? So I had two options. Either I was going to do it, either I was going to continue my day job in the radio business, or I was going to spend the $6,000 and at least try to reach my goals. And that's what I did. I spent the $6,000. Didn't flip it for as much as I wanted to. I flipped the house for $8,500. So the $2,500 profit.
Yeah.
Not too bad, but that's just
money back.
Exactly. I made my money back plus $2,500. Now it did take me a longer while. It took me like 4 or 5 months, about 5 months, just to get a deal going for it. But that fear piece, if I didn't pay that $6,000, right now I would be in the hole. Because since then I've had so many things happen to me. So many things happen to me to whereas if I didn't have the money in my account to do certain things, then I would be in a complete hole. My family isn't a higher end family. I have more money than anyone in my family. Unfortunately, that's not even something to brag on, but it's so many people that I take care of. I have a child now, you know what I mean? So that fear piece, if I didn't overcome that fear piece, to spend that $6,000 at that moment, the rest of my life would be hell. So my ultimate, every time someone comes to me like, yo, Fips, like, what's some advice you can give? You know how people always, what's the advice you can, and it's never really, it's never really like advice I give. I would never, like, this is the first time I've ever told anyone any of this, but it's just like,
exclusive, man. I appreciate you. That's love.
But it's just like, stop being scared. Like, I'm so sick of being scared. Like, and I'm not saying it to where like I'm some type of crash dummy or something. I'm saying it to where it's like, if you want something, bro, go do it. Like, I'm sick of being scared. I'm sick of going home, wondering how I'm going to do this, wondering how I'm going to do that. No, my whole mindset now is researching. I want to do this. I'm going to do this. If I have to take this loss, I'll be smart about it. I won't spend as much as my mind is telling me, but I'll still be conservative. But I'm going to take this risk because I know where I need to be. Fear is the 100%, to answer your question, the roadblock that stopped me. But once I overcame it, it helped me out.
Respect, bro. Respect for doing that, for bossing up and taking care of your own, man. Because, I mean, we need that example 100%. Right. I appreciate that. And I'm sure that's not the only time you've dealt with fear. So how long were you, like, captivated by that fear before you broke through it?
It actually, crazy part, it actually wasn't that long. So once I got into the radio business, I mean, radio, people think, because I work at the radio station, I just make all of this money. Like, I'm just some type of, it's just six figures, this endorsement, that endorsement, which it is good money at times, right? So I do have like endorsements. Like right now I have an endorsement with Powerade, which is Heartland Coca-Cola. So like they endorse me, they pay me money each week to do events and things like that. So that's great, right? But then you get in the slow season where the endorsement's up, you're not making any money. So I'm flat. I'm flat again. You know what I mean? I have a little bit of money in my bank account, but I'm flat. So that's when I decided, when I had that $11,000 in my bank account, like, hey, it's $6,000. This is what I'm going to do with it. It didn't take me long. It didn't take me long at all. I would say maybe a couple years. And that was it. That was it. I'm the type, when I make a little money, I just keep going. You keep going. And that's why I do so much. Like, I have so many, I'm making money right now. Like, that's the awesome part. I'm making money right now. You know what I mean? And I'm not doing anything.
Right. We chilling.
I'm chilling. That's the awesome part. This is what gets me excited, to have someone else enjoy a product, to have someone else do this for me, and it's making me money and them money too. That's the awesome part about business. A team. You can be as selfish as you want to, but if you don't have a team behind you to help you, to support you, to support them and their families, you're not doing it. You're not it if you don't have a team behind you. I don't care what anyone says. Starting out is good. Starting out by yourself is good. But getting that team behind you and working with a group of people who all want the same thing, it's better than sex. Like, it's awesome. Like, you just get this rush and this fume every time you wake up in the morning. It's like, yeah, I'm that dude. I brush my teeth in the morning. They're still yellow, but I brush them anyway. I brush them and I'm happy. And I'm like, yeah, we're finna kill this day. I'm gonna get this many sales. I'm gonna go out into this world and I'm gonna make myself better. That's what keeps me going.
That's respect. There's so many different things you just said that I'm going to touch on. We're going to double back on.
Yeah.
But I got to take a second and pause, because you said it didn't take you that long to make your money back when you made the real estate deal. Just a couple years, you said. So what I want to point out is most people don't even have the bandwidth or the patience to wait a couple years. You know what I mean? And obviously your success has been, it was pretty much just like one step to the next, to the next, to the next. It wasn't this big overnight thing, like, you know, I got the radio gig and, like you said, 6 figures and do it, whatever. But I think it's really important to focus on that part that, you know, I was down and out. It did take time. There was a process, and it wasn't all ups, because with this social media thing, all right, I'm gonna swipe up, I'm gonna ask Jeremy some questions. This is what he said. Cool. I should be rich by next week. And that's really that's not what it is, you know. And you sometimes you'll get on YouTube, whatever, 30 days for this sales challenge, and you're, you know, but that's not always the reality of it. And just listening to a real life self-made story gives you that proof. So I just wanted to take that second just to kind of zone in on that.
Yeah, and it's so my whole life, right? I thought like $100,000 was just like all of this money, right? So like I wanted to make 6 figures so bad. So now I make 6 figures, right? And now I would say it's just so funny, right? How when you're in school, they teach you to do this, do that. You go to school, you go to college, right? You make sure you go to college for 4 years. You go to college, you get your master's degree. You go to 4 to 8 years in college, and you will get out of college and you will get a job, and you just live this lovely life. And it's crazy how they paint that picture for us in school. And this is like I said, my opinion and my opinion only, right? And then they don't tell you more about owning your own business, getting a team, being profitable. That's the number one thing. P&L. They don't teach you that in school. They don't tell you about owning your own business and making money yourself. They always focus on education to a certain extent and making other people money and not having that generational wealth to pass down to your kids and your kids' kids. But what they do teach you is, hey, you know what? You get this degree, you go do this, you go do that, and you get out in the work field and the sales force, and you'll be awesome. And you retire, and you get this solid check, and you just live your life 9 to 5 each day. I never really believed that. That was never really me. One, because I knew I wasn't good in school. I was a C average student. I barely got out of high school. Class clown.
Wow.
I had a 2 point. What my mom said, I had a 2.3 GPA getting out of high school. That's like a CD student, but that's enough to get you a high school diploma.
Yeah.
Nothing was going good. Like nothing was going good. But I feel like if we were taught about business, what it takes to get to the next level in entrepreneurship, then in schools nowadays, we'll have a different mindset. If I would have knew the things that I knew now, if they would have taught some of those things in school, which they don't do, like they literally, in the high school that I went to and that we went to, they don't have a course for it. I think that more kids will get out of school, and I wouldn't say they'll choose college. I'm sorry, they'll choose going for whatever business venture they want versus going to college, but they'll at least have a choice, more of a variety of options to do, which is just not being taught in our schooling system. So my big thing is, I went through the hurdles, and I had to search and find out by myself. I didn't have no one over me, saying, Jeremy, do it this way, Jeremy, do it that way. However, I did have the inspiration by seeing other people make it.
Like who? So
people that's personal to me, right? So like I said, my dad wasn't in my life, but my dad technically made it. My dad owns a whole block. Every house except for one house on the street, the ugliest house is here. Yeah, he owns every single house on the block. Mind you, he's never really gave me a dime. He owns every single house on the block, right?
Yeah.
That's making it. That's making it. You're bringing home close to $10,000 a month just off properties, right? Off one street. It's a long street. Hamilton and Jennings. He owns every single house except for one, directly across the street from his house. He's bringing in close to $10,000 a month, every single month. And that's not his only business. People like that, that's an inspiration. I wouldn't say you made it like you're making these millions of dollars, but you're creating generational wealth, going back to that, for your kids. And down the line, just seeing things like that changed my whole mindset. And mind you, that's my dad. Yeah, we were never really close, but I was around to see that. And his brother, the same thing. So on my dad's side, they come from more of making money and things of that nature. So I've seen the money my entire life. As far as on their end, they never reached out to give it to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
you knew it was possible, but you just didn't know how to.
I didn't know how to get it. No.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know how to get it because they didn't show me the ropes at all. They didn't show me the ropes. Now he's trying to, but they didn't show me the ropes at all. I had to get out here and learn them all. Someone that close to me making that type of money, he's making. I was saying a given year he makes $250,000. Yeah. So he's making $250,000. That's not a millionaire per se, but
more than most.
Yeah, it's more than most. More than the average person. You know what I mean? Especially the average American. So that's not making it, but it is creating that generational wealth. He can go to sleep every day and have all his bills paid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was inspiration for me.
So what I'm curious to know, we just talked about you starting off, you making $8 an hour, and it's just like, man, I got to get it. I need this money. I got to take care of my family. So now you're to the point, like you said, you're making money and you're not even working. You're doing whatever. You have the ability to do what you want when you want. So what does money mean to you now? Because I think you still work at the radio station. So the job has transformed from I'm doing this solely for money. And so now what does the job mean for you? And how do you really think about money? How has your relationship with money changed?
Yeah, so radio, number one, I don't even do that for money. I would do that for free. Like being able to speak to millions of people, that's awesome. Even like you, I don't think you're doing this show for money per se. Like, you know what I mean?
Paid for it.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So having the ability of talking to millions of people and communicating and saying what I want to say, because my show isn't scripted. I can say whatever I want to say on my show.
Number one show in St. Louis.
Number one show in St. Louis. Shout out to St. Louis. You guys are awesome. You know what I mean?
Champion of St. Louis.
And it's about it because I have a freedom of speech. So the reason my show is number one is because I say whatever I want on my show. Of course, I don't curse or anything because FCC violations and things of that nature. But the way I look at money now is a tool. It's not how I looked at it before and how I look at money now is totally two different things, right? How I looked at it before, I would say it was more of I need money. I need money for this. I need money for that. If I don't have money, I'm not successful. Or I'm not doing this. Or I'm not doing that. Success isn't how much money you have. You can be the most average person in the world and still be more successful than the guy with the most money in the world. Like it has nothing to do with your compensation. Money is a tool to get you from one place to another. It's just an easy way out to get you from one place to another. I don't see money as how a normal person would see it. I don't floss my money either. That's something that I used to do. Oh my God. I was so immature. That's so stupid. I used to get on like Instagram and Facebook with like $10,000 and just $20,000 and just like shut. Like, that's just so lame. I just think of how immature I was about money. And now, just to answer your question, money is more of a tool for me. I use money to create a job for someone else, or I use money to move this amount of money to this amount of money, or I just use it more as a tool and not how the average person sees it. My drive isn't money, if that makes sense to you. Like, I don't wake up every day and say, I'm gonna make money. I say, yeah, I'm about to get it. Like, today I'm gonna work 14 hours and find out a way to move this tool to here, and I'm gonna find a way to take my business, or my businesses, to the next level. So money isn't per se my ultimate goal. It's more of strategizing in my head, how can I use this tool to take my life to the next level? Or now I have a child. Now, how can I take this tool and maybe give her this tool, give her some of these tools that I have to create business ventures for not only her child and her child. And like I said, the number one thing with me, you will hear me say it a million times, is just generational wealth. Because where I come from the west side of St. Louis. I come from the dirt. I'm the only person in my family to really even graduate. My mom, it got so bad to where I was at, she moved me to the Rittner School District. I was in 6th grade. my brother, my sister were selling drugs out of my mom's house. My mom works from 9 to 8 every day. She can't do anything about it. So I'm just in an infested home, and she got sick of it. So she moved her 9 to 8 shift to 9 to 10. And those 2 hours helped us, I guess, a little bit. Got us a small apartment, 1 bedroom. We stayed in a 1 bedroom apartment in Overland, to where Rittner, to be honest, changed my life. That school changed my life. It definitely changed my life. Where your kids go to school, I don't care what anyone says, it's the truth, because I come from what people call the gutter. I come from dirt. I come from nothing, like literally nothing. We got evicted so many times to where it's not even funny. Having to come outside in the morning and having all of your stuff, like I don't know if you went through this, but having to get dropped off or get off the school bus and have all of your shoes, your clothes, your toys. My toys was everything. I didn't even care about the clothes. My toys. Why is my sponge out, my SpongeBob, my Superman toy outside on the front lawn, trying to get into my house? The key's not working with a letter. That happened to us 3 times. That's just not where I want to be. And I was always taught money. And now, like I say, I teach others, it's a tool. It's not, let's stop using the word money. I don't feel like money is the right word for it. It's just a tool. How can you use this tool to get you to the next level in your life? If that answers your question, that's my thoughts on money.
100%. That's huge. That's huge. We're gonna dive into that, but I just want to answer your question back as far as have I ever been like evicted or anything. So we haven't been kicked out the crib, but my house has burned down before, and so we were homeless for about a good 1.5 years, just bouncing spot to spot. We didn't have no toys. My toys got burnt up, so I kind of just had to rely on donations or my cousin's stuff, or I might go visit a friend and just snatch something.
Right. Thief.
Once upon a time, right?
Right.
But what would you say it was that really changed your relationship with money? Was it just getting around money, or you were around people who saw it different and they just kind of bled into you, or was it the reading? How did your mindset change, and how would you recommend other people go and create that same change within themselves?
Seeing it abused. I got fired. I got
more
T-Mobile.
What?
Got fired.
This dude, what'd you do?
Committing fraud. Yeah, so
what?
So it wasn't me. It wasn't me. So I was a store manager. It wasn't me committing the fraud. It was my reps.
I was like,
so what did no. So what they were doing was they were returning. So they were faking accessory sales. Accessories were how we got paid. Yeah. They were faking accessory sales, and since I didn't catch it, they fired me. Right. So no one really taught. So I was making solid money, but no one really taught me how to really save this tool, money. So I got fired. My girlfriend is pregnant. I got fired at the wrong time. I got fired November 25th. I got fired November 25th, the day before Thanksgiving. Oh my God. I didn't know what to do. My girlfriend's pregnant. Thanksgiving's tomorrow. They said I'm not gonna get my commission check because of fraud. Christmas is next month. The New Year's is coming. I owe rent. I just bought a $50,000 car. What am I gonna do? I had $4,000. I had $5,000 in my bank account. Didn't get another job or didn't have any resources for I would say 4 months. 4 or 5 months, money started getting real thin. So when I got fired, that kind of changed a lot. No one had taught me to save. Strip clubs and blowing money and buying Louis Vuitton is like if this was me, if I was in this interview and we were doing this amazing show a couple years back, right? I would not have on a Nike jacket. This would be like a Louis Vuitton jacket. I have on a Gucci belt. I would have some Balmain jeans on and probably like some $1,500 shoes. With only like $5,000 in my bank account. Stupid, right? That's the kind of person I was because I never had it before. And that's how people flossed. And that's how I wanted to be. That mindset still didn't kick in just yet. I didn't go through that breakthrough just yet. So I got fired. $5,000 in my bank account, 5-6 months down the line, rent's $900. You gotta imagine just rent would have knocked that out within 5 months, right? So just knowing now how to save, how to break it down. So how I break it down to people, which is minimum amount, right? Let's just say your bills is, average person bills altogether is maybe $1,500. Let's just say $1,500 a month. With most people is now more. That's $18,000 a year. If you don't have your monthly expenses times 12, that's $18,000. If you have a $1,500 balance in your account for a year, you're not even where you need to be. So if your monthly expenses are $1,500 a month, that's $18,000 a year. If you don't have $18,000 in your bank account and you're working for someone, you're not in a good space. I was always taught, I read it in a book once, I don't remember the book, take what you make, times it by 12. If you work for someone and you don't own your own business, you're in a horrible space if you don't have at least that in your bank account. They can fire you any day, anything can happen, and people just don't get that. People get fired every day, people get terminated every day, and they don't have the funds in their account. So now I save. I know that if a business venture goes wrong, if I make a wrong move, that I always have something to fall back on. So the tool that I speak about, money, I save it now. So when I want to go out and start a new business venture, or my mind taking me to different places as far as business, I'll know now that I have that money to lean back on, or I have money to actually do what I need to do, or take care of what I need to take care of. That's my thoughts on money, and that was my, I guess, objection in life. When I got fired, I didn't know what I was gonna do. So yeah.
That's some heat right there. So I got to take it back, just because, like you said, this is the guy that was, B's and C average in school, but he's talking about reading and investing and doing math. He pulled out his phone. He's got his calculator up. So it's not to say that school doesn't teach valuable information. It's just the application and the execution of it isn't in the direction that we need it to be. So, I mean, this guy's still using real life skills that you can learn in a classroom, but you can't just think that that's enough.
Mm-hmm. It's not like it's not that I'm knocking school, right? I don't knock people who go to school and get a degree, right? But I also have my own personal opinion. I feel like we're all entitled to our own opinions. I believe that that's just the truth, right? So I just don't believe that college is the ultimate source for everyone. Everyone should rely on college to get where they need to be. And it's just my opinion. And I'll always preach it because I'm entitled to my own opinion. You don't need college to get to where you need to be. I'm not an advocate for college. I'll be the first to say it. My daughter will be set up to where she wouldn't have to go to college a day in her life if she did not want to. Notice I said want to. If she chooses to go to college, that's perfect.
Awesome, yeah.
But it'll be paid for. But it will be pointless because we're gonna have enough, not enough tools, not enough money, but just simply we'll have enough business ventures to where she does not have to do that. If she wants to be a nail tech, I'll buy you, or I'll loan you. I'm sorry, I will never use the word buy when it comes to my daughter. I'll loan you. I don't buy my daughter anything. She's gonna pay me everything back. I'm gonna loan you the money to get what you need, the supplies that you need. I might even give you enough money to get your own shop if you want to do nails and lashes and things like that. Just as an example, right? How is sending my daughter, knowing that she wants to do this, or she has an ultimate goal to do this, and she has this big plan out on how she can be successful, sending her to school for 4 years with no primary really major, and just saying, you know what, go to school. Hopefully they'll teach you something to, help this nail and lash business, right? I don't believe in that, right? I want her to have a plan. It's my job as a father to not just provide her with the tools needed to get her where she needs to be, but to show her that we have different options. That since I did what I needed to do, you have a different option. My daughter's name is Chloe. Chloe, you have a different option to now get out of high school and do what you want to do. Yeah, you can go to college. I 100% support it. Every weekend I'll be at the school. But you also have the option to start your own business and start your own generational wealth.
I respect it. You're open-minded, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's huge if you're going to be successful, because you can't unlearn the trash that you're taught and replace it if you're not open-minded enough to look at least, if not at other people's opinions,
correct,
at your own.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, look, bro, this is a fire interview. I probably ask you 1 or 2 more questions, and I'll let you, you know what I'm saying, do your thing. I'm not trying to have you here all night. I know
I'm chilling.
I know you got stuff to do. So what I want to ask you, I know we've been kind of getting real heavy into the business, and obviously not everybody is going to start off their first adventure and be super successful. So talk to me about how you can really leverage wherever you're starting from and using that to take your next move and level up.
So the number one thing that and I don't care who you are, anyone in business, anyone that's starting their own business should have is behavior. I don't care what. I can tell you, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this, you should do that. It's all based on behavior. And let me tell you why. If your behaviors aren't in order with yourself, how can you have composure with yourself? How can you take what you have to the next level if your behavior, if you aren't trained, if you're just out here doing what you think is best and you're investing in this and you want to do this and you want to do this, if your behavior isn't right within yourself, meaning you're not consistent, you're not prayed up, you're not meditating, you're not seeing the ultimate goal, you don't have an end goal, you're just going. If your behavior within your own entrepreneurial mindset isn't correct, then you're not gonna get to where you need to be. Period. It is period, point blank. Every entrepreneur has to have amazing behavior. It starts off with behavior and consistency. If your behavior isn't where it needs to be and you're not consistent, you're not gonna get to where you need to be. So I stick to 2 things: having great behavior and having consistency.
Now, how do you build those things? Let's say I'm a guy and I didn't know that I had poor behavior, so I go out, I try to launch this business and it fails, and that shows me, all right, well, I'm not a disciplined dude. How do I train that?
That's an amazing question. That's one of those questions.
You haven't had that issue?
Like, wow.
You went out and just crushed it? You didn't, I should have, you know.
I with the businesses that I own, no. I definitely reached a standstill. But what I would say, training yourself, that's something that no one can give you advice on training yourself. That's something that you literally have to meditate. You have to know that you want to get to the next level. If you don't want to get to the next level in what you're doing, then it's impossible to go back to your old ways or wanting to advance in life. Because if you're not training yourself right, and I'll go back to it a million times, you have to know, like, okay, I'm starting this business. I have this amount of money. I have this amount of assets alone to go aside with my business. I have to create some capital. If you're just simply blowing off the money, or you're doing this with the tool that you have to get you to that next point, you're not advancing. You're not making sense. Your behavior doesn't make sense. You have to control your controllables. Ooh. If you're not controlling your controllables, the people around you, your finances, your behavior outside of business, your spirituality, if you're not controlling your controllables, the simple ones, it's impossible for you to advance in life. And if that first business fails, if your behavior, if your mindset is, I'm never doing this again, I shouldn't have done that, that's not the behavior that you should have. But if your mindset is more of, okay, yeah, this failed, but this is what I'm going to do next time to not have that same issue, then your behavior is in order.